Everyone needs a little hero. Chapter 21. Trouble Ahead. After the entire interaction between Soren and Casper, Hero's father, Casper returned to their home while Hero and Ray went off to help some nearby humans. The two of them ventured off to help some of the humans that Hero had introduced himself to, but, as promised, neither borrower boy revealed themselves to the humans. They initially were going to see the new humans, but they hadn't quite moved in yet, so it didn't make sense to wander around the random package of 5 stacked boxes in the entire apartment. Perhaps the humans would be back and need help with missing things in a few days. In the meantime, Hero ventured from place to place to help his friends, with Ray by his side. It pained Hero to not say hello to all of his friends, and he promised himself that he would be more careful as long as he was with Ray. Their missions went off without a hitch. They sharpened pencils and replaced lead for Watning, stitched up Maggie's doll that was torn, and even went down to the first floor to help Eliza by pulling out things that had rolled under different pieces of furniture. The two boys joked and had a good time, though there was the lingering apprehension that something terrible was going to happen to the borrower who attacked Ray and his family. Instead of focusing on that, Ray asked how Hero knew these different humans and asked about their quirks, things he knew about them, and different things they could do to help them out. Hero, more than ready to talk about his human friends, told Ray everything about them, even sharing some of their experiences together and how they ended up meeting. Ray shuddered to think about how easily Hero went up to some of them and introduced himself, specifically Eliza. But what if she grabbed you too hard? You really took a risk calling out to her like that, stated Ray as he hoisted his bag over his shoulder. The green-eyed borrower boy shrugged as he checked that the line was safe for him to climb. Yeah, it was a risk, but I think it was worth it. She's really nice and gentle. Maybe you could meet her one day, suggested Hero. Ray gave him a discouraging look. Or no, it's whatever you are comfortable with. Hero climbed the line and felt the weight of Ray's look. Why couldn't he just try? Eliza was a good person. Still, he elected to not put pressure on the issue. Ray had a scare the last time he tried to introduce his two best friends, Ray and Sam. Ray would come around. Hero was sure of it. The two of them ventured back to Ashland's home, where Ray parted ways with his friend and made his way back home. Hero balanced over the boards, tiptoed over the different rafters, and finally made it back to the main air shaft leading to the community. As he approached his home, he heard something, a kind of roaring sound. It didn't quite sound like the elevator that thundered past the main shaft from time to time. No, it sounded bigger, angrier. Hero approached cautiously, descending the stairs as he continued to listen with all of his might. He inched closer and closer to his home, now starting to distinguish the sound as voices. He listened closer to see what was going on. The moment he did, however, it was absolute mayhem. You can't do this to him! He was just defending himself! They're the ones who jeopardized our existence. Are we even safe? No. Hero opened the door to his home to see several borrowers inside with his family. They were shouting. Hero noticed there was a group of 3 borrower men, one of them severely bruised, as well as 2 borrower women, who were undoubtedly wives to 2 of them. You and your group attacked Soren and his family when none of them actively provoked you, pointed out Casper, who was standing firmly and resolute. You then proceeded to follow up on this attack just last night, attacking the youngest boy in the family. We can't have borrowers attacking one another. ambushing each other and nearly killing them. There are too many dangers in the world, as it is, to be turning on one another like this. And you know why we did it? Shouted the bruised one. Because they showed themselves to that human woman. They say they are friends with her. They probably told her everything about us and are planning to capture the whole community. We were trying to eliminate the problem, get them before they got us. Soren and his family decide to live, whether as borrowers or as pets, is up to them. I watched their interactions when it was brought to my attention after the first attack, and have determined she is not interested in the community, stated Casper. Hero winced and glanced around at the fearful eyes of the other borrowers. The anxiety was tangible in the air. You knew? Roared one of the borrower-men's wives. Casper reluctantly nodded. Soren came and disclosed their affiliation with the human and promised to remove himself from the community voluntarily, as to not cause this panic, said Casper. And, as you have seen, he and his family have not been seen here in our walls for quite some time. It doesn't matter. They need to leave. They're putting us all in danger, shouted one of the men. None of you have gone to the home after our warning, meaning you actively sought out Soren and his family. The only ones they are putting in danger are themselves by living out with a human who has done nothing to actively seek out our community or interact with other borrowers. Rather than bring the issue to me, when you first found out about Soren and his family's situation, you took matters into your own hands and attacked them. If you want to remain here, you will not approach them or the community again. You will live in the lower levels with those humans and vacate your homes, committed Casper. We'll tell the whole community you are letting this human keep borrowers as pets, sneered one of the women. And cause mass hysteria? Go on. See what problem that solves. My proposal of having you move away while residing in the building is the best solution I can come up with without banishing you completely. We can still forcibly eject you from this place, threatened Casper. We'll tell them you lied then, and that you knew all along, jeopardizing all of us while you watched the family, threatened one of the borrower men right back. That is unfounded, to say the least, but it is an unfounded claim. The community knows about my tolerance about being seen by dangerous humans. You also risk rejection from the community and banishment from them. Revealing you've been seen by a human, caught and then released, will undoubtedly earn you societal rejection. Now, unless you want to be forcibly removed from the building, please move your belongings and do not engage with the community or Soren and his family again. This is for their safety and your own, stated Casper. Our own? What does that mean? Spat the bruised borrower. It means that if Soren, his family, or the human see you near them again, they will defend themselves, which is the best they can do given the circumstances, stated Casper. Now leave. In a huff, the borrowers stormed out of Hero's home, sure to give him a dirty look as they walked past. Hero watched as they slammed the doors and, slowly, his family emerged. Casper, this isn't good, said Hero's mother, Prim, as she stepped up to her husband. There is no alternative, stated Casper, taking the first deep breath he could manage as he reached up and pinched the bridge of his nose with his thumb and forefinger. I do not want to banish them completely now. It would be a death sentence. I also can't have Soren's family attacked every few days. Ashlyn might get angry and decide to take matters into her own hands. Hero watched as his siblings slowly emerged from their rooms, his oldest sister carrying his youngest sister in her arms. "Dad, are we safe?" asked Callie, Hiro's oldest sister. Hiro could hear the sadness and apprehension in her voice. "Yes, we will be all right. We just have to stay close and look out for one another," stated Casper as they looked faithfully at his family. Hiro, filled with apprehension, stepped forward and hugged his father. He wished he could do something to make him feel better. For a moment, just a fluttering moment, Hiro thought about reassuring everyone that humans weren't as terrible and scary as they thought. He wanted to tell them about his human friends, and that they had nothing to worry about because humans were understanding and wouldn't hurt them. But he didn't. He stayed quiet as the family gathered together and embraced one another. The next few days were filled with tension. It was obvious that some of the borrowers were on edge. Undoubtedly, they were told by the banished group that they needed to be wary about Ashlyn, the human Soren and his family were playing pet to. Some of them even dared to ask Hiro if he was still friends with Ray. Still, there was no mass exodus. No one left. Everyone simply hunkered down and, most likely, packed in preparation to leave at a moment's notice. They were obviously doubtful about everything that really happened and unwilling to leave their wonderful homes. Hiro knew he needed to be careful on his way to go see his friend Ray, as well as his human friends, which was disheartening to say the least. When they hung out, venturing out to help humans anonymously, Hiro explained the situation in the community and how Ray needed to be careful if he went further in. Don't worry about me," said Ray. "I'll be alright. Anyway, I can borrow what I need from Ashlyn or any of the nearby apartments. I only went there to help you out." "Well, that's good to hear. Speaking of nearby apartments, there are a few that I want to go check out. The humans are there and unpacking. They've already lost loads of stuff under the floors and under furniture," said Hiro. "Sounds like a plan to me," grinned Ray. The two of them set out quickly, extinguishing their hip lamps as they arrived at the loose baseboards of the new apartment. "Nice and quiet," reminded Ray, as he crouched near the base and pushed open the board. Both boys listened intently and could hear the front door open and close before a long gap. Then it opened and closed again, this time accompanied by the sound of a dozen or so shoes. "Right over here," instructed someone who sounded like he was just a little bit older than Ray and Hiro. Suddenly, there was a new sound. It was hard, and sounded like it was gliding across the floor. There was a thrum, accompanied by the smooth rumble, followed by a rubber-sounding squeak, before it stopped. Ray and Hiro glanced at one another in confusion as they listened to the sound. "Wheels?" mouthed Ray as he peered a little further out. He ducked back immediately as a massive tire rolled past. Hiro craned his neck to see and barely caught a glimpse of what looked like a chair on wheels. "Nice," he mouthed back to Ray as he gave a little thumbs up. "Ready?" "No, not yet," whispered Ray as he peered out once again. The human boy's voice rang out again. "Yeah, over there. I think she'll like her bed right there by the window," said the boy's voice, accompanied by a sigh. 3 gruff-looking men stomped into the room with crates and furniture. Suddenly, there was the sound of smaller, stomping feet. "Theo! Did you see this place? It's huge!" The voice was that of a young girl, most likely 10 or so years old. She ran past the boys' hiding place and jumped at the boy in the chair with wheels. "Yeah, Bella, did you see your bed? It's going right here by the window," said the boy named Theo. "What? No way!" Hero felt a tap on his shoulder and turned to see Ray motioning back to the walls. "Come on," whispered Ray. "They're too active at the moment. Let's get out of here and come back another day." With a certain reluctance, Hero nodded. He actually agreed that things were a bit hectic at the moment in the apartment, but he wanted more than anything to help them. Ray started to lead the way through the walls, right past an open corridor, when Hero thought he heard something. "Hey, wait up," he whispered as he listened to the sound again. The dark space between the walls made him feel uneasy, but also curious. He switched on his hip lamp and listened harder. There it was again. A sob. "What?" whispered Ray as he approached his friend, his lamp illuminating his face from below. "I hear crying," stated Hero as he started venturing down the darkened path. It was only 4 or so rooms away that Hero looked up past the vast wall and saw that the trim had been pried away at the bottom. "There, I think it's coming from in there." Hero took several bold steps toward the entryway and turned off his hip lamp. Ray did the same, but hesitated. There was something off about this place. There was a lingering scent in the air he wasn't familiar with. As Hero reached for the opening, Ray stepped forward and clasped his friend's shoulder in his hand. "Hero, wait. It might be dangerous," hissed Ray as he followed his friend. "I'm not going out very far. I just want to see what's going on," said Hero as he smiled reassuringly and stepped out into the room. Ray followed behind closely and saw that the trim was under a dingy-looking desk. There was little to no light in the room. The walls were probably some kind of pink at one point, but they were covered with posters and, from what Ray could see, chips and holes in the wall. Ray also noticed a single lamp light that was on above them. Ray also noticed that the human, a girl probably a little older than them, was on her bed, sprawled out. She was the one who was crying. The door was shut. The window was covered. The girl sounded like she was sobbing again. Still, chills ran up his spine. Something was wrong about this place. Something was very wrong. "Hero, we need to..." Ray barely formed the words when he noticed Hero was already darting from under the desk where he was to the leg of the table, which he was already climbing. Ray, with caution, began to climb the side of the desk after his friend, trying to tap the furniture to get his attention. Hero, on the other hand, wanted to see who was crying. Why were they upset? Were they missing something? Could he help? Was this someone new who he could be friends with? Maybe they were crying just because they were lonely. He swung his leg over the edge of the desk just as the human girl sat up, mascara-colored streaks dripping down her cheeks as she turned her eyes onto the desk and onto Hero. Hero watched as her eyes widened. She choked back another set of tears as she wiped her eyes and stared at him. Hero smiled as he watched the sadness turn to curiosity. See, he was making it better already. That's when she spoke, and her words chilled Ray to the bone. "Whoa, Austin was right,"